In 2011, hundreds of students packed a school board meeting room at the Tucson Unified School District in Arizona, hoping they'd keep an ethnic studies class from ending. Opponents said the class would create resentment and divisiveness in students. Supporters disagreed. The class was canceled, but the issue has not gone away. In fact, it has arrived in San Diego. Guillermo Gomez, a Spanish teacher of 19 years with the San Diego Unified School District, believes the current curriculum offers little diversity and lacks cultural relevancy, which he says disengages most students.
It's very narrow. It's very Eurocentric, and doesn't offer kind of more ground to students to be able to explore certain types of histories.
In the San Diego Unified School District, 76% of the student population is non-white. And while no ethnic studies program has been approved at San Diego Unified, word is spreading, and some students welcome the change. One of those is Diana Andraca, a senior at Lincoln High School. She says she's excited not just for herself, but also for her little brother, because she says she learns very little about her own culture and history at school.
And it's like, no, it's not supposed to be like that. You're supposed to know your background, where you came from.
In March, the San Diego School Board passed a resolution to form a committee on ethnic studies issues and for the committee to come back with a list of recommendations for the superintendent before the end of the year. School districts in Los Angeles and San Francisco have already committed to offering every high school student an opportunity to take an ethnic studies course. Those efforts also inspired a bill in the legislature requiring the classes to be offered as electives across the state. But that campaign suffered the setback of a veto by Governor Brown, who said the state is still establishing new guidelines for social sciences, which would include ethnic studies. Republican California Assemblymember Rocky Chavez, the vice chair of the State Education Committee, voted against the bill and doesn't see the need for ethnic studies. He says students of color should focus more on math and science.
They're underperforming than their counterparts. So introducing a new class that would take time away from their traditional studies, I didn't think would help out.
Chavez is also concerned ethnic studies classes could leave some students out.
So how do you prioritize one culture or ethnic study over another? And how does a professor deal with somebody maybe from Ethiopia or South Africa or the Ukraine? Or are we going to be slanted strictly to children who, let's say, are from Mexico?
But Roberto Hernandez, a professor of Chicano studies at San Diego State, says ethnic studies shouldn't be seen as something that simply takes time away from math and science.
Ethnic studies in particular is precisely about changing the world in ways much more fundamental even than math and science, or at bare minimum alongside math and science.
In response to Chavez's other point, San Diego Unified economics and government teacher Kiki Ochoa says there should be flexibility when it comes to fashioning a course.
You would tweak it to your audience. So if you're in a community that's predominantly African American, obviously, you would tweak it to that audience.
Many supporters of ethnic studies described it as a way to prepare students for living in a society that is ethnically diverse. Larry Thurman, a U.S. history teacher at San Diego Unified, says for him, the change is not just about improving test scores and raising grades.
In the history, the identity, it's all connected because your history is part of your identity. And we're trying to build, not just create, a great student. We want a great citizen. We want the person after here to be successful, be a productive member of our society, be caring about other people's situations.
The details on the program need to get ironed out. Thurman says he expects pushback from those opposed to an ethnic studies curriculum when a final plan is presented to the school district. For KPBS News, I'm Maria Elena Castellanos.